Hey guys! So I'm actually doing day 33 and 34 in the same video because I realized this morning that I completely forgot to do my video yesterday. So I'm doing both days in one. Woo! Okay, so yesterday, overall was a really good day. I stayed really busy all day, so at the end of the day, I just was not even thinking about a video or anything like that. So I started out with my weigh-in, which was 295.2. Again, this was yesterday, which was day 33. And so it was finally, my weight has started going down again at that point. So, yay for progress. Um, and the food that I ate, so for breakfast, I had a boiled egg and it's either 1.5 or 2 ounces of ham. I don't think that I weighed it out perfectly, but it's somewhere around in that area. And then for lunch, I can't really remember what I had for lunch yesterday. What did I have for lunch yesterday? Oh, I had 2 pieces of bacon, a potato cake, and one scrambled egg. So the calorie in count for me yesterday between breakfast and lunch was actually pretty low. I was probably somewhere around the 600 range at that point. And then I ended up coming home and eating 2 pickles. Um, to hold me over until dinner because I knew I was actually going to be eating dinner late. It was my best friend's birthday and I was cooking for her, so I knew it was going to be later, which we ended up eating about 7:30. So, um, oh, before dinner, I made my famous fried meal. So it's fried chicken, fried potatoes, fried green beans with bacon, and fried squash. This is my signature meal. I don't do it as often as I used to now, but my best friend loves the meal, so I just went ahead and fixed that for her. I had 1 piece of chicken. I had probably about a cup of green beans, which whenever I say with bacon in it, I chop up the bacon pretty small and put it in there so it had bacon in it. It was probably the equivalent of like half a piece, maybe 3/4 of a piece of bacon. And then I had 3 pieces of fried squash and probably about a half a cup of fried potatoes. So I still kept the calorie count pretty low. I was under my calorie count by I think about 600 yesterday. So I still did pretty good. And overall, the day went well. Like I said, I stayed busy yesterday. So um, it was really like I didn't even think about dieting or losing weight or anything. Literally, I was just completely slammed all day. As soon as I got off work, I was trying to get to Costco. I didn't make it to Costco though because traffic was awful. So I came home and then got stuff together and then immediately went over for the evening to my friend's house. Um, and then while I was over there, she has a really steep driveway, so we decided we were going to walk up it, or walk down and walk up it. So we walked down and walked up, and let me tell you, it was a really, really steep hill. So by the time I got to the top, I was like really out of breath. I was tired. And I was like, okay, let's do it again. So we walked all the way down and then we walked back up again. And this time it was really hard. So she was like, just push yourself, keep going, keep going, keep on. And then so we walked down again. And this time we kind of stayed near a bonfire a little bit. And then we walked up again, but we walked up really fast. And I was pretty tired by the time I got back up there. So it was actually a really good workout. I was sweating because it was kind of humid outside, but it was a really good workout. Okay, so moving on to today, which is day 34. um, my weigh-in this morning was 294.4. So we lost almost an entire pound from yesterday. But again, that fluctuates every once in a while. So it was really good to see more results this time on the scale, which I was super excited about. Um, but my food intake today has been, it was pretty good. So this morning I started out with breakfast, and I did We had Spam. Well, okay, so I had Spam. It was probably about maybe 2 ounces. It might have been a little bit less than that, but about 2 ounces of Spam. And we had leftover potato cake. So I had one of those as well, but that was all that I ate for breakfast. And then we went to Costco. And of course, when you go to Costco and they've got all those samples and whatnot that you can that you can eat. I really just did look at some of them. Then you start, like, especially whenever you decide that you're going to skip lunch because you know that you're going to have a bigger dinner, which was not particularly my goal, but I was kind of going for that type of thing. I figured if I was going to eat something, it would be like pickles or something that have really low calories in it. So as we were going through, there was one lady who had croissants. I just want to say that I skipped that one. I didn't even look at it. I was like, nope. Well, I mean, I glanced because I saw it was croissants, but then I was like, no, I don't need that. And then I went up to the next one, and the next one had grilled chicken with like the Montreal seasoning on it, but all it was the grilled chicken with Montreal seasoning. So I literally grabbed the smallest piece that was on the little tray and ate that. And then we went around the corner and we were like picking out our cheeses. Sorry, I've got a really itchy nose. We were picking out our cheese, and there was a sample of cheese that I've never heard of before. It starts with an M, but it's not Munster. It's like it's MA something. I don't even remember. But so I'd never tried it. My husband never tried it. My son had never tried it. So it's like, okay. So I just got one of the pieces off there and then broken into 3 different pieces and then took a bite of that. So really, I don't even think I should have counted it, but I did anyways. And then the last thing that I tried, was that they had samples of it was the cheese, but it was like a chunky cheese sauce kind of, but it was cold. And it was spicy. I was like, oh man, I love spicy food, so I'm gonna try this. And they served it with a pretzel, a very small round pretzel. And let me tell you what, it was delicious. I wanted to get another one, but I knew I was like, no, you can't go back for another one. It's kind of frowned upon. So, but it was really good. So that was my snack for the day to get me through until dinner time, which was this evening. My in-laws, my husband's mom and dad, invited us over to enjoy a bonfire and dinner. It was hot dogs, which I love hot dogs. So I ate 2 hot dogs, no bun, no ketchup, no anything on it. She also had macaroni and cheese, like the Kraft macaroni and cheese out of the box. Some baked beans, like the Bush's baked beans, the home style flavor. And then some fried potatoes. And they were like grown potatoes, so they were really good. But I didn't eat anything on them like ketchup or anything like that, so I just ate them by themselves. So I had that, and then a little bit later I had a sugar cookie, but I picked the smallest one out of the batch, so I did end up eating that. Right, sorry, I'm tired. Probably right after 6. It was like 5 after 6 when I ate the cookie, so. I still came in well under my calorie count for the day. I think that I came in right around 1,200 calories for the day. My goal is to stay under 1,900 and some change, so I'm doing really good with that. My exercise for today, since we were there at the bonfire, I had planned on going to the gym this evening, but then it started getting late and then it got dark, and I didn't know how late we were going to be there. So they have this ginormous, let me tell you, ginormous hill on their property. And, like, I thought that my friend's hill at her house yesterday was big or steep. It's steeper than her driveway. So I ran up it the first time. Like, ran up this hill the first time. By the time I got to the top, I was going, like, I thought I was going to die. And then I walked back down. And I got back down, and I caught my breath for about a half a second, and I said, again. And I ran halfway up it, and then I couldn't run no more, and then I walked the rest of the way up. And once I got to the top, I looked down, and I said, okay. At that point I'm like, ah! I can't breathe at all. So then I walked back down, and my legs were kind of starting to feel that wobbly feeling. Um, so I got down it, and I had just caught my breath, and I was like, one more. I'm gonna do this one more time. And I walked up that hill, and by the time that I got to that hill, I was going like I was dying. Like it sounded like I was dying. But you know what? I got to the top, and I sat down, and I was like, I just did this hill 3 times. 3 times. The first time I ran it. The second time I halfway ran it. And even though my throat is still sore from breathing so hard, and I've been coughing this evening, and my legs are shaking still, even in 2 hours later, I am so glad that I did it. Because if I wouldn't have pushed myself to do it that third time, because I knew I had it in me. I knew that I could push myself just to go as far as I could and as hard as I could. And let me tell you something, I actually had a moment of thought when I was at the last, like, let's say I'd already gone 3/4 of the way up this hill, and that's when it gets the steepest as it is. And I was like, I can just walk back down now. I said, no, just push, 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 push. And I made myself walk up the steepest part of that hill to finish it off. And I sat down at the top, and I I kept telling myself, you'll catch your breath, you'll catch your breath, you'll catch your breath. But you did it. You did it. All you have to do is walk back down. And let me tell you something. It was a journey to walk down the hill because my legs were shaking so bad at that point. Like they literally felt like jello. I thought I was going to, I actually had to lock my knees as I was stepping down, and I walked down like super slow. Even though I know you're not supposed to lock your knees, but I really thought that I was going to end up falling over. But it was just so empowering to know that I made it 3 times up that hill. And I actually had a thought, like I've been to my in-laws, hundreds of times. And they have a little shed where they have a nice little swing, and you can sit outside and enjoy the weather. And um, in at previous times, I think, yeah, I don't really feel like going down there because then you got to walk all the way back up, and it's not much of an incline. Now I don't see that as much of an incline, but before I was like, gosh, it's such a long walk. And now I look at it and I'm like, why was I ever afraid of this? Why did I ever not want to walk this? And it was just like a moment of like encouragement for me to know that I've dreaded walking up and down, from door to shed. I had dreaded that for so long and not wanted to do it so many times, the times that I've been there. And after I start this journey and I continue to exercise every single day, even if it's just a small amount, and I looked at that hill and literally I thought in my head, oh, that's not that steep. And this was before I walked up the huge hill on the other side. I mean, this ginormous hill that I thought if I ever had to walk up that, I would probably die. And I did it 3 times. On purpose. Like, I wanted to do it because I knew that it was something that I could consider an accomplishment. But it was just amazing how I looked from the shed to the back door of the house and thought, that's not that steep. I don't mind walking this at all. Never in a million years, 6 months ago, would I've ever thought that I would ever say that. That's not that steep. Now, by the time that I had walked up and down this ginormous hill and then had to walk from the ginormous hill and where the bonfire was to back where the cars were, I was like, oh, I don't want to walk anymore. But I was pleasantly surprised that whenever I did, I was not near as out of breath as what I used to be. And that was amazing. So, if anything, even if I don't lose any weight at all from the torture of not being able to breathe for a matter of 3 minutes, I am so glad that I got to experience that feeling of not being intimidated by walking up a hill. So, I'm going to end with that. It's been an interesting journey so far, and I look forward to seeing what the future holds. Bye, guys.